We are all united by a planet, but separated by different belief systems. Religion shapes our identity, behavior, and values. When love connects two people of different faiths, the million-dollar question is, can love alone carry the weight of their differences? Thank you so much for joining the institution called marriage today. I appreciate you so much for coming. My name is Dr. Obuobi. You can call me Love Dr. Obi. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please don't hesitate to subscribe. In today's episode of the institution called marriage, I'm going to talk about how to handle religious differences or things to consider when you're having different religious backgrounds other than your partner. It is one of the major topics that is less discussed because it is very delicate and many people do not want to talk about it. And it's one thing that is separating relationships, breaking away families, and also preventing people from getting married or living with the people their hearts so desire. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about 4 main things to consider or to do when it comes to being in a relationship or getting married to someone with different religious backgrounds. If you ignore these signs, if you don't do this, you might have a catastrophic marriage or relationship. So stay tuned. The first important thing you have to notice is that religion shapes ideologies, identity, and lifestyle. When it comes to religion, it is not just a label. It is something that shapes everything that we do in this life. It influences how we pray, how we raise our children, how we celebrate, how we resolve conflicts, and even how we grieve. The truth is that when couples have differences in their faith, then they also have differences in their approach to various life's biggest questions. And because of these differences, many couples do not want to talk about many of these things and they do not want to get it addressed. They end up avoiding certain questions that are going to contribute to the success or failure of their marriage. And some of these questions, if not addressed as early as possible, it will go a long way to cause differences and misunderstanding in the marriage. Because the truth is that when we have people coming from the Christian community, people coming from the Muslim community, some from the Buddhist community, some from the numerous religions that you can mention when it comes to holidays, when it comes to dietary restrictions, and even how to train the children in a certain religious path. So when it comes to marrying someone from different religious background, we have to take all these things into consideration. Don't just think that we are all one people, we are all in the same world and we must love each other and all that. Love is supreme. But when it comes to religion, it shapes our lifestyle, it shapes our identity, and it shapes our ideologies. These religions has given us a lifestyle, something that we hold on to. There are many of us that they can never talk us out of our religion. For whatever that we eat, for whatever that we wear, for how we think, how we reason, how we see people, are all influenced or fueled by our religion. So before you have to take the step of marrying someone or being with someone with different religious background, know that some of these hard questions or hard things must be talked about first, not ignored, because in the future, it will cause a lot of friction for you and the family that you have created. The second thing I would like to talk about regarding marrying someone with a different religious background is that conflict arises when beliefs crash without understanding. One of the biggest dangers in interfaith marriages is unresolved spiritual tension. If the parties involved are not ready to understand each other's beliefs, or worse of it, try to change the other person to believe in theirs, it is going to cause chaos. Remember, this person has grown in their entire life in a particular way of life, believing in a particular system, probably thinking that that is what has shaped them to become who they are. And you cannot use few hours, few minutes, few months, few weeks to change everything that the person has built over the years. When you try doing that, letting the person believe that yours is the good one or you are the man or because yours is better, then it will lead to bitterness or silent resentment or sometimes open battles and conflicts. And the truth is that religious conflict is deeper than disagreements. It is something that strikes the soul because when it comes to physical things, it is not the same as things of the soul. But the belief system cannot be seen and it becomes very dangerous. So you have to understand that when you are getting married, you don't just marry a person, you marry their belief systems too. If you don't understand or if you don't appreciate their belief system, then maybe you shouldn't marry them. Now, moving on to the third point, I must be frank with you. Some interfaith marriage do succeed, but they succeed through maturity and compromise. There are many couples who have successfully married with different religious backgrounds. And their secret, if you want to know, is mutual respect, is understanding, and their tolerance for the other party's faith. Also, they have understood their boundaries. They know where to draw the line and what line not to cross. They have understood their differences, and they don't try to erase those differences, but they try to manage the differences in a respectful and mature way. They raise their children with understanding, not confusion. And with such marriage, if you care and if you want to also go by this approach, it requires honest and very often conversations. It requires regular check-ins to understand how your partner is doing so far. And the truth is that these people have been able to develop some sort of belief system to love themselves above societal religious dogma. But this comes at a price. Respect for each other's faith. That is very, very important. You don't tell the other person that your faith is more important or their faith is not good. If you happen to bring that up, then maybe you shouldn't have met the person or be in love with that person in the first place. So it's one thing to know that love can unite people, even from different religious backgrounds. But maturity sustains. That brings me to my final point, which I highly recommend. I mean, everyone has the audacity or the right to do whatsoever thing that they want. No matter what happens, people will still marry people from different religious backgrounds. Sometimes the spark of love, sometimes it is what you see that nobody else sees. Okay, I will just make these assumptions based on what I think or based on the numbers, based on the statistics. But the fourth point I will talk about is the wisdom of marrying someone within your faith. Okay, the moment you marry someone within your faith, I believe that you have prevented many issues or conflicts that are bound to happen in the marriage. Because I believe that even though love can cross lines, a shared faith can create alignment. When you share the same spiritual faith with your partner, it reduces so many unnecessary conflicts. After you know what this person is made up of, you have a glimpse, you have an idea of what the person or why the person behaves in a certain way, unlike something that you do not understand. For instance, if a Christian marry a Christian, they know that certain ideologies goes this way, even the way you should marry and all that, even though they have their individual differences, but they become one on a certain trajectory of their relationship or life. And if a Muslim marry a Muslim, the same thing goes. They understand the Quran, they understand what is expected of them and all of that. And that is wisdom when you choose someone within your faith. You save yourself many stress. It means you're not only allowing your feelings to lead you to choosing someone for a short or temporary relationship, but you are using wisdom and love to choose someone who will have a sustainable future and lifestyle. And the truth is that when you marry someone from the same religion, it reduces the conflict in the relationships. It helps you in raising the kids on a particular lifestyle or particular path. Their worship, the way they pray, their values, their moral standards, all can be aligned under one umbrella because you all understand what is expected of you. So my advice is that if you are not deeply mature or spiritually flexible, it is very wise to marry someone with the same beliefs. But I also advise that if you are going to cross the line of religious differences, then do that with open eyes, not just an open heart. And this brings me to my conclusion on this very episode. Religious differences doesn't mean that marriage is impossible. It just means that marriage will be more complex. So if you're already in such relationships, you should invest more in understanding. If you are now considering it, weigh what is at stake. Know the risk. Respect the differences. And above all, make sure love is matched with wisdom. Life is beautiful when it is approached with understanding and maturity. And if you have the character of wanting to change people or wanting to convert people or condemning others of their faith and their religion, then maybe you didn't marry someone with a different religious background. I appreciate you so much for joining today. My name is Dr. Obuobi. You can call me Love Dr. Obi. If you haven't subscribed yet, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Also, please like this video, comment, and also share to others who also need to see this one, because it is one topic that many people are looking forward to know what they have to do. I receive messages. I receive questions regarding this. That's why I did this episode. So please share to someone who needs this video, and I will see you in the next episode.